Welcome back to the Warrior Minute. And yesterday, we went over some pretty difficult feelings, some negative emotions that all of us experience on a semi regular basis. For some more than others, some may experience it multiple times a day, others maybe just a few times a week. But we've all been there. And I mentioned you should ask yourself some powerful questions about these feelings and where they're coming from. One of the hard parts that I ran into is figuring out what those questions are, what I should actually be asking myself, and how I should be exposing this emotion. And recently, over the last few months, I ran across a gentleman that I've been following that I would consider to be one of my mentors. He's brought some of these things that I've learned together and help me kind of solidify some of these ideas, if that makes sense. So these questions are from him, so I don't pretend to own these or anything else. However, he has asked us to share it with other people. So I want to go ahead and share these with you in case you've never run across him. In case you're curious, his name is Garrett White, and he creates some phenomenal training specifically targeted towards men, but not to say a woman couldn't listen to it as well, but probably not going to get as much out of it because we're just different. We kind of live in different worlds. Even though we all live together, men just tend to have a little bit different ways of looking at things than women. So not better, not worse, just different. So if you are a man, I invite you to check out his training. If you're a woman, feel free. You may not get as much out of it. With that being said, let's go ahead and get started. So one of the first questions that we want to ask is, what is the situation that triggered these feelings or triggered you? What happened right before you had these emotions? And what is the story that actually showed up in your life from the trigger? What were you telling yourself? This one was a great question for me because I found sometimes there's something that happens and then the story that we tell ourselves around that situation is very, very different. Somebody accidentally forgets something or does something else, and we end up reading much more into it and thinking that that's a personal attack on us. But people just forget things sometimes. Those things happen. So what is the story? Is this story, you're saying, 100% true? No, really. Is it 100% accurate to what happened, or is that just something that you added on to the situation? What specific thoughts and feelings are coming up? We mentioned some of those feelings, but let's write down what you're actually feeling. Next, what are the desired actions? What do you want to happen? What would you ultimately like to see? You may be mad at somebody. You may even be so mad you feel like punching them, but is that the desired action? Is that really going to solve your problem, or is that just going to temporarily numb the pain? What do I want for me? What do I want out of my life? And what do I want for them? What do I want for us? A lot of times with these situations, we're triggered by somebody that's close to us, somebody that we care about. So saying that you want to shut them out of your life because they forgot some small thing may not be what you ultimately want for you as friends, as spouses, as parent-child relationships. So what do you ultimately want outside of maybe this situation? And will the current story that you're telling yourself around what happened, will that give you what you want? And what might be possible if that story you're telling yourself wasn't true? When you're in a moment of rage, of anger, of frustration, of any of these feelings, it can be difficult to see rationally. But if you take some time away and you ask yourself these questions, a lot of times it can help you calm down, kind of reset reality, get you back where you want to be, and help you actually deal with the situation. Sometimes what triggered the situation is something that can be handled and can be dealt with. But if you come at it when you're feeling extremely frustrated, you can't deal with it. Sometimes the perpetrator is you yourself, and you're feeling shameful, you're feeling frustrated with yourself. Same thing. Ask yourself these questions. Really be honest with yourself. I encourage you to write this down because you're going to get a lot more out of it. Thank you so much for watching today, Warriors, and we'll see you in the next episode. Take care.